Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Brofessionals. As I look at my camera, I've got it on YouTube, my Wi-Fi. I'm not even hooked up to Wi-Fi, but it shows I have a weak Wi-Fi signal, which is ridiculous. So whatever, we'll get the rest of the guys in here. You saw my first man trailer. So links, yes, Hyper Kaiju. I know it's blurry. Relax, it'll work itself out. It always does. I'm directly plugged in. Who the hell knows? Anyhow, nobody wants to see this in all its digital high resolution garbage. Guys, links for all of our campaigns are below in the description. We'll be posting them throughout the show. Stat Zero, Hyper Kaiju are going to help us out with that. Just to get my face smaller so I look clearer. I am bringing on the beefiest of the Brofessionals. That would be Graham Nolan.
And the clearest.
And the clear, you are. And see, I always do this, so I actually have it on my phone to watch. And as I bring in more, the boxes get smaller and I look clearer. It's weird, Graham. I'm literally directly plugged into my computer, but for some reason it says I have a weak Wi-Fi signal. I don't understand it.
You got a shitty cable company.
That must be it. Coming in next, he is on time. I'd call him Mr. On Time, but that would be wrong. It is Art to Bear.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this clarity, huh?
Oh, I love that
God, I'm getting it from all ends now. Like I
said,
said,
well, you know what,
I'm
Andy?
getting,
some heads
I'm
need
getting
to be
clearer.
Rolling over there. You need to fire some people.
No, you know, I won't even get into it. And then last but not least, it's going to be four of us tonight. The Boom, Fragga Boom, into his house.
Evening, gents. So, evening, chat. I hope you guys are doing good.
Hello,
there
hello,
he
hello.
Is. Billy is taking care of some family stuff, and actually Aaron is too. Aaron is out flying his daughter back down to college, like a good dad.
And I want to slow down for just a minute. We need to send some prayers and some well wishes to that Tucci family, man. They have been getting smacked around by life. So if everybody could just give it a minute and throw some well wishes in their direction, I think
positive vibes.
Use it, yeah, good vibes.
Give them the good vibes out.
Definitely. So there you go. So yeah, like I said, all our links are in the description below, so you guys can look at our campaigns, support the campaigns if you haven't yet. I'm just looking at something down here that I want to. I forgot to upload, but I'm going to do it now. This should be the right one. Anyhow, so tonight I thought, oh yeah, get that light on. Sexy time.
It is that time.
Oh, and look at how we're organized. We've got the guys on the left, myself and Fragga Boom, who washed that gray right out of our hair.
We did.
And then we've got the guys on the right who are like, screw that, we're gray and we're happy.
Yeah, we're on natural.
Well, I was
look at her. He's already ready to take the dive.
You got the hair and the beard?
I'm going to need two, because the thing is, you guys don't have any hair, so you just have to,
you son of a...
I would have to do all
you son of a bitch.
This great hair. I'd have to
son
do
of a
all
bitch.
This.
How are you?
I got two packages, and I'll tell you right now, somehow I need to monetize this idea or something, because this would be a major change for me. I mean, all this gray.
What color did you get?
It's like my natural color, so it's kind of like a black brown.
Oh, okay.
But it's just going to look odd because everybody's used to seeing me like this. So
not me.
I didn't know you did it, Andy. I didn't know you had gray in your beard.
Oh, thank you so much, Graham. Oh, yeah. In fact, the next day, I did it Saturday. My wife and daughter went out of town for the night last week, Friday, Saturday. So I did it Saturday morning. And actually, I'll be honest, I usually use light brown. And I did it like probably 3 weeks ago with light brown. And I've done it over the past decade, just every now and then. And I couldn't really see that much of a difference. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my wife, and she didn't say anything. So I was like, all right, well, I'm out of the light brown. I'll just try dark brown, see what happens. I did the dark brown. And let me tell you, Art, when you put it on and you wait 5 minutes, it is a hell of a lot darker than it's actually going to be once you wash it out. So 5 minutes later, I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God. So I washed it out and, this is the result. But I texted my wife and she's like, yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Wow. Shit.
Oh, yeah, no, she won't mess around.
Yeah.
So
Nobody
I was
noticed.
like, what?
Nobody noticed in my house except for my daughter and my stepson. My 10-year-old said, "Dad, did you dye your beard?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And I said, "Now I'm there's not a single person in my house that doesn't use some sort of hair dye. Even my 2-year-old. My
Your 2-year-old.
I know it sounds crazy, but like my 7-year-old, he wanted anime hair, so he got like red and black stripes like a zebra.
Okay.
And then my stepson said, "Well, I want it all red." And I said, "Okay, Ronald McDonald." But then the 2-year-old was like, "Me want red, me want red." So we said, we can't dye her hair red, but she has her little spit curl. My wife put it in tinfoil, so now she's got this little red curl. It's cool. Like if it was a comic book, she'd definitely stand out.
Dude, Art, you seriously got to do that. You should do it on a live stream.
I think if I do this, I'm going to have it professionally done. This would just make a mess. I mean, it would be.
Well, because
like
what you
goop, right? It's like a goop that you kind of.
Well, no, what you bought. No, you don't. What you bought,
like a mix, like you mix it.
Right? It comes with 2 tubes and a mixing tray, and it comes with a brush because you literally bought the stuff for your beard and mustache. The stuff for the hair is totally different.
Oh,
different product. Okay. Different product altogether.
Yeah, it's a different product. You got beard and mustache only, and I mean, it comes with like a stupid little plastic glove. You don't need that.
I use the glove. The brush is good. No, I didn't. I used the back of the brush to stir. I rinsed it off.
Yeah,
that's
and what I did.
Used just enough because you can do multiple applications and such. I was thinking though, Art, I think get the beard all black and get the hair all white.
Yes, black and white.
I like that.
You look like a wrestler, dude.
Yeah, I was thinking of just kind of doing the mustache and around here, just black, and then just leaving the rest.
Oh, there you go. All right, well, let's say first and foremost, we want to give a shout out to Joe Bernardo. I'm going to share a screen. He sent this pic over to us of our characters that he's working on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, great.
That came out great. I last I saw it, the Chenu was being worked on. That's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So he's been updating us all.
Yeah.
So he's going to color it tonight. So thank you very much, Joe. We're looking forward to seeing the colors.
Joe.
Yeah. Looks great, Joe. What's the 66 represent, though?
Well, there's 6 professionals, and maybe 66 was I
just saw that. Yeah.
I don't know.
What year were you born, Andy?
That ain't me.
Andy was born in 1969 on November 5th.
Yes. Good memory.
Go.
Hey,
69, dude.
It's Sarah's birthday. November 5th. My daughter, Sarah.
Oh, yeah. I think I see that when, on Facebook when it says happy birthday and stuff.
Yeah.
And, I'm only like 5 years older than her. So there you go.
That's right, son.
See that?
Oh, shit.
I'm back to 30 now that I did this. So
you step out of line, Graham's going to put you over his knee.
That's right.
Oh,
I got something.
He is stepping out of line. Just so
I got something today that I hadn't got in probably a couple decades. I got a zit on my nose. Just being stressed out, it was just weird. I woke up and I went like this. I'm like, what the hell? I haven't felt that feeling since my early 20s.
Yeah, acne is a real thing.
Eyebrow hair that was practically tickling my chin.
Oh, geez.
I didn't even notice it. How does it get that long and you don't notice it until one day you notice it? And
then you go
like this. And you grab it and you go like this. You're like, what the hell?
Oh, that's what it is. Now I remember Joe actually told me, he just said it. he destroyed the DC building. Remember their address was 66 something.
Right, 66.
Yeah.
And the other
Sweet.
one more of those. Yeah.
Yep.
Avenue
That's
of
right.
America
I remember
and
now.
56th Street or 57th Street. We were talking about that last night.
Yeah.
I wish I had eyebrows like Art T. Bear. I used to, but I accidentally shaved them off.
What? How do you
accidentally
accidentally shave your eyebrows off?
Okay, so the way I shave my head, I have clippers, right?
Yeah.
And I go back to front, and then I go front to back. Well, I had was getting ready to get in the shower. I had a towel around me, and there's the little dangly strings. Sometimes you get on it, and I'm shaving my head, and my cat is playing with the string, and he jumps up, and his claw hits me on the inner thigh, and I jump back like this, and I look in the mirror, and half of my eyebrows missing. And I thought, well, I can't walk around with half an eyebrow.
No.
So I shaved them off, both, to kind of make it like that. And I look like a turtle, or like Neo. Remember when he first comes out of the goop and he's got like no hair
Isn't
whatsoever?
it the worst when you think you're going to fix a situation?
Oh, I made it
but
worse.
You just make it worse.
I look like such a fucking weirdo. I mean, this was like 99, 98, 99. And this is the most they've grown back. And I should have had luscious ones. My uncle Rick, God rest his soul, his eyebrows, he let him go so long, he looked like a fucking owl. You know, like the big long ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Andy Rooney. Remember Andy Rooney?
Right, yeah.
I do remember
That
Andy
dude,
Rooney.
man.
60 Minutes, man.
Oh, I loved Andy Rooney's last 10 minutes to 60 minutes. I've got a couple of his books that are really good, but that dude just didn't care. Like towards the end, he'd go on, and those things were just, and it's like, there's hair and makeup, and he's like, don't touch me.
Well, at a certain point, like in this world, like if we're success driven or whatever it is that drives you, whether it's getting some ass or settling with a family, getting a house, having a successful job, having people revere you for what you do and you do it well. That guy at a certain point checked every box, right? Yeah. So what do you do at that point? You're like, fuck, no fucks, I'm out. You know?
Oh yeah. Well, also, it's kind of your brand at some point, right? It becomes like the weird thing that brands you. Like I always thought Donald Trump's comb over was definitely on purpose, and I have this theory, and it's like the reason he does it. It's so obviously weird, right? It's weird. It's because he wants to find the suck ups in his life versus the people that are honest. Because if you're honest, you go, that's bad. That looks really bad. But if you're a suck up, you're going, your hair looks good today, Donald. It's looking
You know what? You reminded me of something, Art. It's the kind of people I appreciate, and I try to be like that person. If I have something in my teeth, please fucking tell me.
Right.
Like I hate going through, like, I had lunch, I go to some event or something, and I'm because I'm smiling and shit. And then I go in the bathroom and I go, oh, what the and just this chunk of salad, right? I'm the first guy, if I see anything, I go, look, hey, you got a little something, or something in your beard or mustache or whatever. Yeah. But
and you know what else? I'm always the first guy that says thank you when somebody does that. But you notice 9 times out of 10, if you do that to try to even help a close friend, they get pissed at you. Like they're going, like you put it in their teeth. Like somehow you know what I mean? Like
who do you hang out with, Art? Shit.
No.
Most people appreciate it. They'll go, oh, dude, thanks. Why didn't anybody else say it? Yeah,
I think it's a California thing. It's like if you're driving, right, somebody's kind of weaving into your lane, and you just do the little friendly meet. Like all you're doing is like, hey, man, I'm here. And then they're like, they flip you off and they start weaving in your lane. And
California is not especially SoCal. That's not
SoCal.
That's not a good thing. I mean, when I was at Mattel, I was there 5.5 years. I did 2.5 hours each way, 5 days a week.
Oh my gosh,
okay,
5 hours a day.
So 25 hours a week I was spending in my car. So I got to, for 5.5 years, and I got to learn a lot about the algorithms of traffic and people's behavior and stuff. There's a lot of middle fingers. You try to be polite.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I just learned, like, you remember where the studio was on La Palma? Like, it's only one off ramp to my house from the old Hack Shack Studios,
I
and
remember.
it could take half hour to 45 minutes to get home. And I used to kind of be that competitive guy, like, yeah, I get a little edge here and stuff, and then
You
I
had
was
the little
just like,
sporty car too.
yeah. Then I was just kind of like, you know what? It doesn't matter. You're going to shave off maybe 2 minutes, but you know what? Just be calm, just be cool, put on some good tunes, and then you'll get home when you get home, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I started freestyle rapping in my car. That's how bored I got.
People are like, look at that guy. He's talking to himself.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's better
With a
than
mic
doing
in front of his
some
face.
other
What the hell?
Yeah, some other things to myself, one-handed
right.
driving,
It's California. I don't
That's
suspect
true.
that probably happened. I bet.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So the topic of tonight's show I thought would be fun. We all had how to draw books growing up. I devoured them as much as I could from the public library. So the one book that we'll of course talk about, but we're not going to include in our list is How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way.
Yeah,
I mean, do we all have that? I had it.
I have the one I got when I was 9. I have a first printing hardcover. I actually own, not exaggerating at all, 68 copies.
Do you really? I have 2. I have a
Didn't you learn
hardcover.
the first one?
I have
No,
3.
I've got a hardcover
Come here.
with the dust jacket that's torn to crap.
got me.
Yeah.
And hello. So I've
Say
got
hi to
that
all the daddies.
hardcover, and then I've got a soft cover version as well. So I've got 2
Yeah.
copies.
I have
the
3
original
hardcovers.
Hardcover, first printing with the dust jacket.
Yep.
I don't
still
have my
do?
dust jacket anymore. Yeah, and it's well loved, man. The whole spine is falling apart.
Yeah.
My original is a soft jacket, and you'll notice. I love you, sweetie. You'll notice that the older ones, they're thicker. There's like a more robust paper. But I think I got it in like 81, 82. So it was like a second or third printing, the first one I got, and it's all taped up. But I managed to get Stan Lee to sign it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I got. I never got to meet Johnny B. I wish I would have. He's one of my top favorites. But yeah, I got him to sign it and do the old good luck Excelsior business in there. But yeah, you're right.
I could have had him sign it, but
somebody's asking why so many copies. I'll tell you why. Because there's a store called Five Below that had them for $5.
dude, that's where I got a soft cover from.
Yeah,
Five Below,
and I
$5.
went to all my Five Belows to grab them, to have them, because eventually what I want to do on my show, when I have the time, once I get my book done and have some time to make some more content, I'm going to be doing some videos and giving them away as prizes with like a little sketch inside them. So
What if you
That's awesome.
accidentally gave away the Stan Lee signature one?
Oh, I won't. I let me see. I think it's actually somewhere.
That should be in a case somewhere, like a glass case.
I almost got mine signed, but once again, it was, and I regret it. It would have been $75 to get it signed, and I was like, nah, I'm good. And now I'm like, I should have done it.
Do you guys find like that you still kind of go back to that book from time to time? Like you just kind of like you're working and then you're just looking for inspiration, or you're just going through your collection of stuff.
Art,
and then you're like, I got it.
I'm gonna tell you something, Art, and you actually all the panel and maybe the chat will find this funny. I am a voracious explorer of the right tool. Like I'll buy every pencil, every lead holder, just to find the one that just feels good. Mm-hmm. I did the same thing with inking tools. I like a 104. There's a deleter I like, a dipping pen. Mm-hmm. Bought a lot of brushes, right? A lot of brushes. And went through them, different inks. Then I found this one that was like, holy shit, this is like the angels singing, Winsor Newton Series 7, number 3. And I was just refreshing myself on How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, and right there in the list, it says, I find that the best brush for inking is a Winsor Newton number 7, Series 7, number 3. And I'm like, why didn't I just fucking buy that when I read it?
See, the funny thing is, my favorite brush is the Raphael 8404 number 3.
Yeah,
Those are
I
close.
don't like the Winsor Newton.
Well, it depends. I
weird.
actually, things change over time. Like if you guys are a fan of Doc Marten shoes, back before Skechers bought them, they were made of a certain quality and they lasted forever. You can buy them now. They have the same profile and look when you buy them, but they last like 5 years. Same thing happens in, I love you, son, art supplies. And the Series 7 that I had, I got from when my grandpa passed away. I got all of his art supplies, and I found a box of old Series 7 from different sizes, and these had to be from like the 60s or 70s. So, and they were still in box, in tube,
wow,
taken care of. So that might be the case, because I hear the Raphaels nowadays are like the way to go.
I was just going to say, like, last maybe decade, 7-8 years, the Raphaels have been better in quality than the Winsor Newton, but the Winsor Newtons were always superior. I never had trouble with it, and after a while, you do it as long, work in ink as long as I have. You just want things that aren't fussy. You want trouble-free tools. It might not be the best tool, it might not be the coolest, but it's the most reliable. So yeah, I would always go with like Winsor Newton, and I would go with the number 2. The 3s were a little bit more unwieldy for the finer detail, but they hold more ink, and you can go longer without dipping the brush.
I'm a constant spinner. I have.
Oh yeah.
When I use a brush, I'm constantly. Throwing a spin on it. But the other thing I found out too,
by the way, to throw the spin on it, you guys, anybody listening, it's to put the tip on the brush.
Oh yeah, so, you pull it again. You pull it and twist it as you on a piece of piece of paper.
It kind of twists up and gives you a nice point on the brush.
The other thing I noticed too, though, is that it's there's a Gestalt effect. A lot of people say, "What's the best ink?" or "What's the best pen?" And I found an ink that I absolutely adore. It's made by Talons, and it works on like almost all of my paper. It works in a way with these tools. But my favorite paper, which is it's called Fabriano Artistico. It's made from cotton. It's a hot press, 140 pound hot press. It doesn't like the Talons. It likes Kuretake. It likes a couple others, and in tandem with those tools on that specific paper, it's a dream. But the second you introduce Talons, it doesn't like the ink.
What does it do? Does it bleed?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it might just be because of the cotton composition of it.
Yeah. There's rag in there that it's gonna. Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's like you explore enough, and I think collectively, Andy's at 30, I'm at 30. Graham, what year did you break in?
83.
83. Art, you're 84, 85?
Yeah, I think it was more like 82, but officially like the Marvel DC stuff was 84. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say 40, 40, 80 plus 60. We're at 140 years of experience between us.
Yeah. Where'd you get that, Art?
That's great.
Is the stuff right here. This is the trouble-free ink, man.
Where do you get it?
I just order it through Blick and different places. Why? Is it hard to find?
Yeah.
Everybody's different on how they apply it too. I don't have a little inkwell like a lot of guys do because it just drips and it's messy. I buy these tiny little squeezy bottles about the half the size of the one you have, Art. Yeah. And I literally just put a couple drops in, work, runs out, wipe it on the towel. I have a little rag, couple more drops, work, and then put the top on, and there's no mess.
Yeah, I watched Scott Williams ink, and he's got like the little dipper, and he's like puts it on, and he just inks, and then puts it on, and inks. I'm like, that slows you down. Like I always make sure there's just enough ink that will cover my nib. I always make sure just slightly above where the little opening is, and I just bottom out on it, pick it up. I have a little sheet. I throw off the excess.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
I just work. And that way I never have to think. Like, it's always going to be filled up perfectly. I hear that because I have glass. I don't have one of those plastic. I have like this old school. Let me see if you can see it here. It's like this old school bottle, and it's glass. So it makes a little tick sound like when I hit it. And I've had that thing for years, so I just clean it out. Oh, you got a shot glass.
This isn't even a shot glass. I wouldn't even call this a shot.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
small,
like
yeah.
half
It's,
an ounce.
I mean, otherwise I have gigantic hands, right?
Yeah.
No worry, Billy. We totally get it. Take care of what you have to take care of.
We love you,
brother.
Billy.
We're thinking of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
We love you,
Hang in
brother.
there, brother. Prayers going out to you and Deb.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, let's dive in. We're doing how-to books. Graham, you would be up first. The funny thing is, for me, I don't have any. When I do it, I'll actually be holding up books. I assume that's what most of us are doing. But what's your first one you got there? Let's see. It'll be fun to see if we have overlap. For some reason, I think Dan and I might.
This is the first drawing book I ever got. My mom got me this.
That's a great one. That's a
That's
great
a
one.
great one.
Cam.
Jack
got
Ham.
I'll full screen you. Let me full screen you just since we're
Okay.
not doing stuff here. That book. So I have that book. It's not one I'm showing because I actually didn't get that till I was in the Kubert school.
Okay.
But love that book.
Look at the price on it. $4.95.
Worth every penny and then some.
Yeah, let's see what year the copyright is on this. 1967. Oh, this was,
Wow.
but mine I got in 1977.
Right.
So
I was 4.
Yeah, so it's got some. It's got a million different. There's a lot of text and.
Well, so here's the story, and you might have done this. I remember Bart and I, when we shared a studio back in the early 90s, he was drawing something, and he wanted to give a look to a different character, and there's like a page of noses in that, I think.
Yes.
And it's cartoony noses, but you can still apply it to what, the realistic type of comics. And I remember Bart looking at like the page of cartoony noses, just going for inspiration. And he was like, oh, that's kind of a cool one. And, made it work with what he was doing.
Side view of noses.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. They got one for hairlines.
Yep. That book is, so speaking of Jack Ham, so do you have all 4 of his books?
I've got this one and I've got this one.
Wow.
So I've got the landscape book he did.
I've got
and
the animal one too. I got the drawing animals.
And I've got the animal one. Yeah. So I picked up all 4 some years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, the animal one is yellow, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've used that when I was drawing the Phantom for King Features. I use that one a lot for like drawing lions and panthers and elephants and stuff.
Yeah.
At least to give me basic shapes.
Oh, totally. No, his stuff
That's what matters.
is just solid. Solid. Art is his camera's off, so we're going to go to Fragaboom then.
Okay, here's one. If you guys have this, I'll be very surprised.
All right, now it's a challenge.
It's simply called Draw.
Oh, I got to see it. Oh, I don't have that. Now, when did that come out, though?
Shoot. Let me take a look. I got it at a used bookstore a while back, but this is 1977.
Really? I've never seen that book.
Yeah, visual approach to thinking, learning, and communication.
Hold on, I'm going to full screen you.
Communicating. Yeah, there you go.
Open that sucker up. I've never.
Yeah,
seen
you could
that.
see I've tabbed a lot of this stuff because it's essential. But let me just go through the table of contents. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, do it.
The first idea that they try to tell you is that anyone can draw. That it's not really necessarily a talent; it's a propensity for learning something.
Throw that book out.
Reestablishing drawing in your life. We all have an innate drawing ability and desire. Children do it for fun. Adults often do it when relaxed to pass time. Everyone can add dimension of drawing for a purpose. That's chapter 1. Drawing is a tool. Chapter 2. Methods and techniques is 33. But then they start getting it really deep into it with copying, size and scale, overlapping, detail, contour, cutting edge, shade, shadow, shape, perspective, geometric origin, the cube, ellipses, emphasis, projection. So they get see, you can see I have tons of notes that I literally go through these books and study them. Talking about line weights, how they can affect your drawing. They have an approach here. This is talking about shape design. So they really get into it. It's not as much like a lot of the books that we could talk about. I'm not going to say names other than the ones already said, like the Jack Ham or even How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. It's very constructive. Start with these basic shapes and that sort of thing. But this talks about planes. It talks about shapes, overlap, design language, different ways to communicate ideas with your drawing. So not just how to draw, but what to draw. They talk about composition, different techniques for textures, and something called depth cues, understanding how you can create the illusion of depth using certain tools. It's good. This is it.
Awesome.
Like I said, simply
that looks like a great book.
Called Draw. Look at that. I surprised you guys.
You totally did, because I've never seen that book.
Yeah.
And when we're done, I'll be Googling for it, because it
Hanks
looks
and
cool.
Belliston.
I thought you meant the magazine. Isn't there a magazine by Tomorrow's or whatever?
Yeah. That one's called Draw! Exclamation point.
Oh,
It hasn't come out in a long
is it.
time, though. It used to be quarterly.
Yeah.
And it's been
I got 'em
years. It's been a few years. Yeah, so do I. It's
that Brett
like a few
Blevins
years.
first issue is great.
Yeah.
some good stuff in there.
Artie
man.
Bear, you're up, dude.
Art to Bear,
You're up.
what do you got?
I don't even know where to start. I got a stack of books here.
Is it a stone
ton of
tablet?
books. Yeah.
These are your 10 commandments.
My 10
These are your
commandments.
10 commandments of drawing.
All right. This is a well-loved book, and this is the Jack Ham book. And so I got this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have the cover on it anymore. It's taped. The spine is all taped up. I got this from my dad. My dad studied art for a while, went to school, just kind of night classes and things like that. And this book it changed my life, man. I mean, it is so darn good. And there's some really juicy ink drawings in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is, if you look at, the way they're inking the folds and stuff like that. I mean, the folds are defined by just like a brush stroke versus like drawn out. I mean, it really is just a stroke. It's kind of like
just the way he shows the hair as well.
Yeah, old school comics. Yeah, and then there's this one here. I always thought this was cool, where he shows how to do different types of hair. Like blonde hair, dark hair, red hair, the whole 9 yards. Look at the brushwork on the lower part right here.
Yeah,
God, so sweet. Just sweet.
Here's a question for you guys, because I don't know. Did Jack Ham do a comic strip or anything? I mean, what did that guy do?
I don't know, but he made a bunch of money off me because I got this stuff later.
Same
but
here.
I got all the Jack Ham books. He's just so freaking good.
Yeah, hold on, I'll full screen it. Yep. Oh yeah, I've got like I was telling, I've got the animal one, the cartooning head and figure, and then the landscape. His landscape book is awesome.
I don't have that one though.
Dude, it's trees, it's mountains, it's all that shit. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So are we just sharing like one book at a time? Or?
Yeah, just
okay.
Yeah, let's not go crazy now.
Well, come on, man. I got a stack like this.
I got a good size stack too, but here's one.
And I have to say, I got a stack that's like 2 feet tall, and that's only like half the books I have.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'll be curious to see if you guys have ever seen this one.
No.
I'll full screen it. I used to check this out from my library.
It doesn't matter if you full screen it, Andy. It just gets worse. My suggestion, Andy, is maybe your computer is, because it's looking, and you said it has Wi-Fi bars. I don't know if you're on a Mac or a PC.
I'm on a PC.
Okay. Well, I don't know how you do it in a PC.
How's it now?
Version still shit. It's cool.
God damn it!
But
all right, hold on.
Whatever they're called, preferences or whatever you go, or settings. You go and it might be running off your Wi-Fi, and you need to have it run off of Ethernet, which you say you have it plugged in. So turn your Wi-Fi off. Well, make sure you have it go to Ethernet.
I'm just going to find the book online.
Well, is your computer hardlined in, or is it working off of Wi-Fi?
It's hardlined in.
Then
But
this
you
shouldn't
said
be
you
happening.
said but he
But
said
he's saying it's conflicting.
He said he can see bars. He's like, I can see, it says I have a weak Wi-Fi signal. That means that your computer might be trying to go through Wi-Fi. You have to actually select Ethernet.
Yeah, turn it off.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Go
Boomer,
into
my-
technical hour.
Dude, I know what you're saying, but it says my
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is turned off. Anyhow, I'm just going to share my
Weird.
screen. I found it. So
All right.
it'll look fine when I share my screen.
No, because your screen's blurry.
We'll see.
Well, I think it's blurry through the Wi-Fi, not.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
The
Yep,
images
yep.
are
He's right.
coming out sharp. Yeah.
Oh my God, that didn't.
That's perfect. That
Hey,
is
could you get
perfect.
it smaller?
I can
The
try.
complete book of cartooning. Who's it by?
It's by John Atkins Richardson. Hold on, I'm going to go back to the image search.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look for this one. The complete book.
There,
of
how's that?
cartooning.
That's better.
Well, we can read the title at least. Oh,
Yeah.
there
There
it
you
is.
go.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen this book.
That's
Yeah,
great. I need it.
I
Dude,
saw
this
it like
book-
when I was a kid when I was starting out. I never bought the damn thing.
If my because like earlier in the stream when we were all just talking, my Wi-Fi went away, which means it was going direct line. So if it does that and I interject, you'll know why, because I want to show. But I'll just tell you that some of the table of contents is drawing talent, this book and others, caricature and characterization, whole figures and half animals, tools and techniques, single panel versus limited sequence, the graphic story, comic strip, graphic stories in book form, so like comic books, getting published, and then there's a glossary and a bibliography and stuff.
Mine is
So-
coming on Sunday. Thank you, Andy.
How much it costs? Now I'm just curious.
I got the paperback. And
Yeah, that's
it
what I
cost
got.
me $14.98.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's pretty
No,
good.
but it's used. It's used.
Oh,
So-
dude, mine is not that you can see, but mine is rather beat up. But I used to check this out from the library. I was the kid that my library in town, we could walk to it. It was a single wide trailer. That's how big the library was. It was just a
Yeah.
single wide. And I would take this book, check it out. 2 weeks later, show back up, be like, "Can I recheck this out?" And they would look real quick, make sure nobody had a reserve, like they wanted it next. They're like, "Hey, you sure can." It's like, let's do it.
Yeah, I used to go to the
So-
library all the time with my mom, check out all that stuff. And I remember this was a few years back, and I did a convention with
So
Larry
bad.
Strom-
I don't
with
know.
Larry Stroman, and Larry Stroman is like, yeah, I go to the library all the time, man. I just sit in there and I can get access to every book, and I just sit there and draw. I go, you work in the library? He's, hell yeah. It's all those books.
That's
are right
actually
there.
really smart, man. I mean, we have the internet now, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we had the internet, yeah, when he said that too. But I was like, yeah, well, if that's
Raise
your
of
thing.
hands. How many of you still have books from your library?
I have a book on karate. I still
Dude.
remember it. I still feel guilty.
Oh, you know
I
what?
have 2
The
books
one-
on magic from my junior high, and I'm sure
Go-
if I brought them back the late fees, they'd probably murder me.
Oh, that
Yeah.
my library's gone.
Oh, good for
Right.
you, man. Yeah,
The-
mine's
the-
still around.
The one book I still have that it's actually not one I'm showing on the stream is George Bridgman's Drawing from Life, the big fat hardcover.
Mhm.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
all right, Graham. Well, you're up.
Well,
Oh, wait,
just-
hold on. Mike, let me know. Am I clear now?
No,
No.
Not
No?
really.
It says not, my Wi-Fi doesn't say isn't.
It looks a little better, but not
yeah.
really.
Hold on.
You're,
Really?
you're like in
Forget it. All right, forget it.
380. Hey, to
Forget
backtrack, Jack Ham was a cartoonist. He did editorial cartoons, and he worked as a letterer on the Bugs Bunny and Alley Oop strips.
Oh,
And then he
Trippy.
attended Baylor University to study theology and taught at Baylor. So
that's why
That explains a lot.
That feel like everything he does is so heightened. It's like comic books, like illustration, and he has a cartooning book too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very talented guy. I mean,
that's
I guess
very
his
cool.
gift. I mean, they said he was teaching. That means his passion might have been in to teach.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, because think about this, man. That guy can draw that well, and he's like, yeah, I'll do lettering on Bugs Bunny, and he's like, yeah, I'll go teach. Yeah, I'm gonna go make a book to teach a bunch of other people how to draw.
Mm-hmm.
I think teaching might have been his true passion.
But he taught theology, not art.
No.
It doesn't matter. It's the communication of something to someone else.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
It was
Okay,
his
so
calling.
the next one up, and this one's amazing. It's a recent acquisition, actually.
If you say Bern Hogarth, I'm going to poke you in the eye.
Oh, that book is
dude.
fantastic.
I almost pulled it out, man.
It's on my shelf.
Yeah. This book is fantastic because it's about storytelling. He's
got 2 more books out, right?
He has
Does he?
3 more.
He's got 3
Yes.
more than that one? I thought he only had the 2.
No, check this out, guys.
How many do you need?
Drawing techniques.
Yeah.
You got perspective 1.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Perspective 2.
perspective 2.
And frame ink. So he's got a total of 4.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
Yep.
He's a storyboard artist, right, for DreamWorks?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Sometimes I wonder how it would translate to comics, and mostly the stuff I glean. Like for storyboards, I think it's absolutely perfect because it's like a very exercised thing in composition. So it's all tonal values and composition in an effort to tell story. But then as far as, I guess it depends on what you get into comics for, right? I want good storytelling, but I'm also like an eye candy guy,
Mm-hmm.
and a few people break that rule, like Toth or Toth. I always forget how you say it. So I've heard it many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Toth is one that's fantastic. Mignola got to that place too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking at his books, I take a lot of compositional stuff from those books and less construction.
I think he would kill it in comics the same way that
Really?
Rodolfo DiMaggio did.
Oh yeah.
What has Rodolfo done? I know his storyboard work. What's his comic work?
Oh, he used to
Oh my
work.
God.
He did Green Arrow for DC.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude, he did a Batman versus Predator that Bill
Predator,
Sienkiewicz inked.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
again, you guys, on my tombstone.
You're not a DC guy.
Not a DC guy.
I don't think.
Oh
he
my
did
God,
anything
the
from Marvel.
Batman Predator that Sienkiewicz inked,
Yeah.
Yeah.
gorgeous. Because
'Cause
you
I
can
loved
really
his-
see Rodolfo's work through it, even though Bill inked it.
He was another storyboard artist on Fantastic Four too, so I got to see his work when it was coming in.
Yeah.
And I just remember going, this fucking guy gets it. you
Oh
know?
yeah.
But he's almost in that. I mean, I like DiMaggio's stuff better, but he's in that Chris Sprouse territory where it's like very pleasing, soft people. It's not like a really hard.
True.
style.
Yeah. Yeah. It's everything is just well drawn.
Oh yeah.
He's
And
not
composed.
pushing. He's not pushing the drawing into other realms in some case.
Right.
That's why Sienkiewicz inking over him was probably a good match. So it kind of edged it up a little bit.
Right.
What else is a really good, like on storytelling and stuff? I know like this is, everybody's like, oh, well,
That's up there with How to Draw Comics the Marvel way, as far as
Yeah.
like it better
Every-
be in your library.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some really insightful, great. This is one of those books as well for me.
That's one of the things I gleaned from Eisner early on and applied was when he said that once the script leaves the writer's hands and gets into the artist's hands, the story is the artist's. It's his story to tell now because now it's
I
a
wish I
visual
would have heard
medium.
that. I wish I would have heard that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe told us
it was
that.
it was
Yeah.
mind blowing for me because then I never worried when I got a script. I told the story the way I felt was best. If the script called for 5 panels and I needed 7, I did 7. If it needed 3, I did 3. And then I rearranged things and stuff. Yeah, it was my
man. When I worked on He-Man, that was the last job I did, and I've only done maybe 4 jobs for DC, and they're all weird ones, right? I did DC's Big Book of Wild Women. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember that one when they did
I remember
those
that
big books. So I did a story about the Queen Nzinga of Africa, right? I did an issue of Powerpuff Girls. Okay, that's a weird one, right?
Was that DC?
DC, yeah, and they had their Cartoon Network stuff. I did an issue of Superman that they lost all the originals behind a file cabinet, so it never saw print. I got paid, and in 2016, I got my artwork back, the artwork that I had done in late 2002. Finally got it back. Wait,
I hope that guy was fired. Like, how do you lose an entire issue?
He lost the whole FedEx box. Like, the whole thing was gone. Nobody knew where it was, and they didn't find it until they moved to Burbank. And that's when they go, oh, what's in here? Oh shit, it's a whole issue. They lost my issue. They lost my whole entire issue for like I said, 13 years.
At what point did they just say, you know what, we lost this issue, but we got to get something out because the deadline
I think it was an inventory issue. I don't think it was a scheduled issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got the impression because it was a self-contained story and I didn't recognize any continuity, but how could I? I only know Bern Superman.
But Dan, look at it like this. Yeah. I did, my first job at DC was an inventory issue of Suicide Squad in 91.
Yeah.
They sent it back to me in 2001.
Well, there it is. Artwork. Maybe that's just how the wheels turn. But in this particular case, they couldn't find it.
Oh, mine. Mine didn't get lost. I just assumed they realized, all right, we don't need that. We're never going to print it. Send it back to the guy.
The last book I worked on for DC, again, was a license thing. It was that He-Man Masters of the Multiverse. And I was working from a writer's script, and he was super prescriptive. Like, this page has 5 panels. This is the big panel. And he's an artist too, a guy named Tim Seeley. He's an artist too. And I just remember going, that's a whole lot of information. But also, like, again, Tim's a friend, and I've mentioned this to him, so this isn't something that I'm talking out of turn on, but like, he'll have someone geographically jump out of a window, right? And then for 2 pages have scenes, and then that person who had jumped out of the window suddenly walks up, but that window is like literally right above them. So what did that person who jumped out of the window do for those 2 pages? Did he float?
Right.
Did like
the timing's all messed up. Yeah.
Right. And like there were little things like that. And I remember getting anxiety and calling and going, dude, I'm going to fix this. And I remember I sent it to Mattel. That was the other thing that sucks about working on licensed stuff is you have to draw the entire thing in layouts and get it approved.
Oh,
and
right.
I remember I got an email back saying, hey, Keldor is supposed to have jumped out of the window here on page 11, but you don't have him jumping out until page 14. And I said, yeah, because he joins everyone on page 15. How could he jump out a window above them? And they're like, oh yeah, you're right. But they were like, checking boxes. But that was. I wish I had. Anyway, man, I went long-winded on this.
That's okay.
I wish I had got that same advice that Joe gave you and that Will gave you, because that would have allowed for a certain freedom. I remember thinking, like, how the fuck am I going to fit all of that in those?
Dude, Joe said, pencilers wouldn't want to hear this, but Joe was like, once you get pages to ink, those pages are yours.
Howard Chaykin told me that. It was so liberating, man. It's kind of like, you guys finding out, like, once the writer's done and the penciler's working on it, it's yours. I was doing finishes on Dan Jurgens, and I was like, I don't really know what to do. He goes, you can do anything you want. He goes, you're the finisher. You get to finish it.
So it's a finisher, though.
But
no, that's the finisher. Joe said
too, though.
Joe said even his inking, once you get the pages.
Dude. If it's a great, tasty combination, like the thing Shelby and I have, he does his own thing. And I love I call it the Reese's factor, right? I love the combo. It's like when McFarlane would ink Liefeld, there was this third thing that appeared, and it was awesome, and you want that. But then there's guys, I'm not going to name names because I like them, but you spend all this time getting the subtlety of an expression on a face, and they just blow through it, and then you see it, and you're like, you fucking raped that face, man.
Right.
Like every subtlety, every little nuance is gone, and now it's dead.
Right.
You know, and that's the stuff where you go, don't do your own thing.
Well, there are some guys that are just they just don't know how to aesthetically make it. Either keep it what it is, you know, the beauty of what it is, and then just either just get out of the way and just trace it or embellish it. I mean, there are people that really genuinely don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like,
but I also think
you got doing this just for a paycheck. You know, they don't. I think
you got to realize too that, you know, coming from Joe's time period in school, pencilers were so much looser. You know, because Joe's talking about guys from the golden age 60s and 70s, and an inker really had to ink. You know what I mean? It wasn't these guys that penciled so tight. You're like, oh my God, dude, you penciled line weights. You know what I mean?
It's a different era. In fact, I was watching Storytellers last night with these two gentlemen, and you know, Art was talking about like the whole get it done mentality. You know, there wasn't this idea of like, I'm gonna make the coolest comic ever. It was, I'm gonna get this shit done, and like, if this is ugly, I don't care. It's going to the inker, and the inker can pretty it up, and the inker is thinking the same thing. I got to get my deadline. So you get a lot of books. You know, I started collecting right around when Art broke in. You know, 84 is like my sweet spot year, and I remember like there was a lot of comic book art, and then there were guys that were like, "What is that?" You know, your Frank Millers, your Walt Simonsons, your John Burns, and those guys brought a whole different thing. There's this. I don't want to call it mediocrity because it still was storytelling. I know Shooter at Marvel had a tight rope around rules, you know. So you got this sort of like, at least it's this good. It ain't great, but at least it's this good.
There's a level that you get. Yeah. Well, for me, it's also like when I broke in, it was kind of embellishers. They called inkers embellishers. So really the penciler was just like composition, proportion, form. Storytelling. That was what they were responsible for, but not necessarily finishing it. So when I broke in, I mean, there were like lines that wouldn't connect. I mean, these things were really loose. So then you kind of embellish them, you put it together. So inkers, you know, hey, that's a cute. Oh man, that's cool. You know, so you were expected to do a little bit more. Look at that. Yeah. You know, so you were expected to do more. And then what happened around like, you know, the 90s is guys started penciling tighter because they wanted to have a certain look and they wanted to dictate a certain look. So they would try to seek out inkers that could give them that achieved goal. And so that's when it started kind of shifting over from just like an embellisher or editor putting, you know, an inker that could be maybe heavy-handed and finish loose pencils, or, you know, the bottom line was more like get it done, you know, and make it look finished. That was it, just like make it look finished.
I got to tell you, Art.
Did you ever see Kirby's and Buscema's pencils from the 60s? Those things were tight.
Yeah.
I mean, how anybody could screw those up is beyond me. They were freaking tight.
Even his stuff from the 70s. I'm sure you guys have this book.
Oh yeah, I got that.
It's all Royer stuff, and thank God, because Royer's my favorite. You know, but you know they do the side by side.
I'll give you a full screen.
Yeah, pencils to inks, and
look at that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's all there. Yeah,
it's funny because it's all there, but it's all there, but it still needs it can still be screwed up with a shitty inker.
Anything can be screwed up with a shitty inker, or even a good inker that just doesn't give a crap. You know,
I'm gonna get all gushy. I'm gonna get gushy for a second. The person I wanted to ink me the most when I broke in is Art Bear. It's true. It's true. There was this a few particular jobs. Like the one thing is, like, when you were inking Jurgens on Superman, I wasn't a DC guy. I know I keep repeating that, but there was something about that work that drew me to it. Then when you did the Art Adams job, where it was the Fantastic Four, but it was Spidey, Wolvie, Hulk, and Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
that shit was bananas. And then, of course, the one that really just sold me and threw me over the loop, you had done two particular jobs, few pages on one, Uncanny X-Men 269 with Rogue. You brought something to the gym that Scott never did, and it was this cartoony bounce and this feeling. And there was this sort of, we talk about it, the bloops, the broken lines. I always wondered, like, where that, love you, son.
Where do they all keep coming from? Kids all over the
my
place.
ball.
He's neighbors' kids are going to be coming in there soon. It's like a clown car.
My balls.
My balls. But then also, like, talking about Rob Liefeld, you had done a couple pages in Extinction Agenda. There was a particular shot where Jubilee runs over the camera, and she's got all these fireworks. And I was thinking, holy shit, Rob's never looked better. Like,
that time, that's my only regret, man. I wish there was more time. I wish I could have inked more of that issue, because that was just enough to whet my appetite. And it was a moment in time. Like I always look, like, there's some people like go, well, ink it like this. I go, well, that was 5 years ago. Like, I don't ink like that anymore. So there was like this moment of time, like where Rob was penciling a certain way and I was inking a certain way. And yeah, I thought those pages looked really cool.
Here's a question for you. And I know it's kind of like asking, like, a rock and roll person, like, play your oldies, do you still have that ability? Like, is it a preset in you where you can go to that bloop mode?
I still have the bloop, but it's a lot slicker and it's way more refined. I can exaggerate it, but I don't think I can go back to those times, because it was just a mindset. And to be honest, like, there was just this reckless abandon. Like, then,
so if I send you cocaine
to try to get in the headspace of those days,
when Art and I worked together in the late 90s, you were still in that mode. And then you fast forward to like 2005 or 6, whenever it was, I helped out on an issue of the Flash and you inked it, and it's totally what you're, doing more now, more slick and whatever. And it was night and day. Like, and I wasn't really following, your transition and stuff. So, the editor was like, yeah, Art's going to do this. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And I already had this kind of picture in my head. And when I saw this stuff, I was like, holy crap, that's like real slick and different.
Yeah, it used to be like when you ink, you would ink. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, there's a difference. Like you're really throwing down lines and you're trying to express yourself with this black, fluid. And then, like, what happened, years, decades later, is it became more of like rigid tracing. You know what I mean? Like, stay to the pencils, and there's very little room there to like be expressive. And I think that's the biggest difference. And why Rob was cool is Rob he threw lines down with reckless abandon. They were like big strokes, man. They were just thick ass, like hatches and stuff like that. And you could be very stylized with it. You could be very bold with it. And that, for where I was at that time, that was just a great place to be, because you could just throw those lines down. And when I say throw those lines down, I mean, you probably saw me at Extreme. Like, you were literally just kind of throwing lines down. You were moving your arm and everything like that. So I
remember when the guys were doing drills, I'd go in there and Norm Rapman would start his day by like just doing freehand fades, and then there's the pulling, the pushing, the scissor hatching, I remember watching them do drills, and I would practice too. I could never be a slick guy. There's absolutely no way. Like, when I ink someone, you better know that you're going to get some flavor on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
But my favorite guys are that way. You look at like I've inked Rob. You can tell I'm inking him. And it was the same. Again, I'm not trying to put myself in this category other than when Barry Windsor Smith inked Kirby, you knew it. but they're,
Oh, yeah.
you know, because when Klaus Janson inks somebody, you know it.
Right.
That's how I ink. Because if I try to be like a Scott Williams or a Tim Townsend with that like just fucking razor Japanese metal precision, you know, I can't do it. There's no way.
I
Well,
think that
they
kind
use
of inking
tools,
kills the
too.
drawing. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I think it takes the energy out of a drawing. You know, when you get an organic inker who's drawing with the brush or the pen and laying it down and interpreting those pencil lines, to me, that adds something. It brings that two-dimensional thing to life, you know?
And that's the way I like to work, you know, but it's just like the industry was shifting over. And, you know, like I always thought too, like I didn't want to be that guy that is just defined by the one thing, you know what I mean? So I purposefully let that 90s stuff go and tried to evolve into other things. And I think also, you know, like I wasn't like Scott where he was attached to a specific penciler so he could keep working in that style. You know, I worked with a lot of different people. So, you know, I would try to adapt to the times and try to absorb what was happening, you know, throughout the decades.
Well, Scott, 1989, 1990, basically the Scott Williams of 89 to 91 doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like when he inked what's his name, Butch Geiss on the Deathlock.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Deathlock,
remember that?
Yeah.
You guys
Well, you
remember
when
that?
he inked? Remember when he inked Strike Force Moratori over Brent Anderson?
Yes.
Wasn't that who drew it? Brent Anderson.
He did a job over Eric Larson, like 3 issues of Punisher.
Oh yeah.
He inked over Rob on that What If, and it too was transformative. But now I like his stuff is very machined.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
very good.
Yeah.
You can't. It's bulletproof, but I don't mean to be a jerk about it. It's not as interesting. You know, it's like, I guess, hearing something live versus the studio. The studio polishes edges and gets it just right.
Yeah.
Where when you hear something live, there's a bit of in the pocket funkiness. I like the funk.
I think I get bored fast too, so I just never wanted to stay in one place for very, very long. And I always thought like I had more to say as well, you know, so you always want to kind of move on and try different things. But we should get back to
Well, real quick, speaking of inking, Art's going to be getting this in the mail hopefully tomorrow or the next day to ink over me. I did a little black and white. So I was going to ink it myself. And you know, these are the breakdowns basically, because I just do the rest in ink. And I showed it to Art, and he's like, I was like, "You want to finish it?" And he's like, "Hell yeah!" So I was like, "It's yours. I'm out." So
yeah, I'll do it on a live stream for sure. Yeah,
there you go.
That's cool. I can't wait to see the finished product.
Yeah, so flattered, Andy. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah. So
take
could
that,
be could be other
original
characters coming up next. Maybe a little Black Flag, maybe a little Western stuff for fun. You never know.
You never know.
Just never know. So anyhow, I think it's whose turn is it to show a book? Is it Art? Go for it.
I don't even think we went one rotation. No,
we did.
Started the second rotation with me, and now it's you.
Yeah. Now it's you.
Okay. So, but there's the Andrew Loomis stuff, but I think this stuff is kind of like the obvious, you know.
Loomis, I've got that. Yeah.
The Bridgman stuff, but and you know what? I'm not a big Hogarth fan. Like, I think it was a good moment in time. It's one of the first art books I got. I remember going to Huntington Beach and just kind of laying out, hanging out, and just reading that book, you know, and just it was well loved. I still have my original, but I think the best thing that Bern Hogarth ever did was
that's a good one.
The dynamic Wrinkles and Drapery. This actually just it put things in perspective. It's a little busy, but you know, like his weird and kind of like awkward poses, it really helps with the folds and to show the folds off. And then then he would show like direction, like where things would be pulled from. You know, like you know, like. Well, I can't. It's everything's opposite from like the top here down, how it loosens up. And so he would show kind of like stress folds. And I do believe it's been a while since I looked at it, but he even names some of the folds. So like muscles and stuff like that, have names. He would name some of the folds. And so it was very informative. And then he would also get into thicknesses of clothing. So like how different clothing, they would have the same folds.
Oh yeah.
It all worked
compared to like a denim, which is thicker, compared to like a dress pant, pants, which are thinner.
Yeah, female like top or something like that. Yeah, and I was like, it's very, very cool. But like I said, and this is a beautiful drawing though, but there's like some really awkward stuff, that he draws. But I just think this is the best thing he does. Like I think his figure work, like here's one of those awkward, like guy juggling, but and I would like to say he just does that for his art books to dramatize things. But if you look at his work, there's still some really awkward stuff going on. But like, yeah,
that's good stuff.
Really
actually, cool. The other book of his that's good is Light and Shade, Dynamic Light and Shade.
Yeah, I don't care for that one that much.
Really?
Yeah, and then he kind of harkens it to like folds on faces and things like that. So I think for me, there were some really good principles in here, and it really did help me start thinking about like how folds work. So the thing, like what we do, and I'm still learning this, is you have to make it up out of your head. You know what I mean? So if you learn these principles and you kind of learn how the folds work and how these mechanics work, then when you go to draw your own stuff, because I always start with like he's got in there like key folds. Like animation taught me this too, like how to just simplify folds, because it's very, very intimidating, because sometimes there could be so many of them. But if you can kind of just streamline them down to like a few key folds, then you start with that. And then if you want to get into more detail, and depending on the clothing and stuff like that, then you can get into all these different, it's just kind of like musculature. You can get into like striations and all kinds of tendons and things like that, depending on how much you want to get into it. Folds can be the same. But
have you seen?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, man. Have you seen the Art of Sin City, the Frank Miller one?
No.
He has movie? A very interesting. No, it's on the book. It's
yeah.
He has a very interesting technique on how he lays in folds. He'll draw his figures like the kind of typical mannequin you're used to seeing: sphere, cylinders, a little bit of muscular shape in black. But then he'll take a red marker and with the red marker draw in where the drapery is. So he gets the idea of how it works around the form. So he sees the form clearly and sees the folds clearly. So then when he does his light boxing or however he's working, it all reads like a clear map.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's really cool. And I find I make better decisions when I ink fold with a brush than I do with a pen. And I have absolutely no idea why. All I can think of is there's just this flow that folds have, and you need them to be smooth and not choppy. So for some reason, instinctively, I can do it way better with a brush than a pen.
Tom Palmer uses a pen to do folds.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he uses it a lot. When I was going through some of the artwork when he had inked me, I was looking at it and I'm running my fingers over and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a pen right there. Look at that.
I mean, Stan Drake did too, didn't he?
Yeah,
because that's kind of where Neil got it from. And here, is this what you're talking about?
Yes, Dan? That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's just one example of it, but it helps give him an understanding. That way he can take a fold across a shape, and if it's pulling, he still sees the shape underneath it. It's a cool technique.
Yeah, it's almost pre-digital. The way he was working. Yeah.
I think I have that. I'll have to look. Isn't it sad when you're like, I think I have that book, and then you look back, you're like, oh God, do I really want to look?
I've bought certain books and certain DVDs 3 times because I'll see it and go, I need that.
I know.
We've been there.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it. All right, I think you're up.
You guys do this like with some of your favorite books is like obviously Dan did, but like you will just buy a second copy.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you want that experience of buying it again and bringing it home. And reading it.
I need mine. My whole thing is I need a backup. If anything bad happens to this, I have this.
Yeah, mine's not even that conscious. Like I'm not doing it for a specific reason. I just see it, and it's like an impulse. It's like you want that experience again, so you buy the book and bring it home and kind of re-experience it.
Like, dude, if I'm at a con and I'm flipping through dollar comics, if I see one I know for a fact I already have, I'll be like, yeah, now I don't have to hunt for it. Dude, that's a great book, Dan. I'm going to full screen you. I've got that one. That is the book that I read in an interview that John Buscema used.
Yep, exactly right. That's how I found out about it.
What book? Do you remember what the interview was?
I think it's Art of John Buscema, one of those SQP books. Okay. And he talks about Roy Crane in that interview. He talks about this particular figure drawing book, but this was, this was like their, they had Bridgman, they had Loomis, and they had Vanderpool.
Yep. Another good one is a guy named Shepard. Shepard's really good. Jack, something like that.
I'll have to check that out.
I got it over there. I'll grab it.
He breaks things down into parts. Yeah, which is interesting. You could tell it's kind of old timey, just by the look of it. But my overall impression of it was it's kind of a hybrid between the.
Oh, there you go, Dan. That's the one.
I need that. I don't have that one.
Oh, it's good. Right,
Art? It's got the T.
Yeah, the reason it's good is it really gets into the muscle structures and the groupings, and then it kind of turns the form, so you can kind of see. There's stuff in here that's inked as well, but let me find this. And I think I like it because it's really detailed. Like it's really like crisp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
That guy drew me without my permission. What the hell?
The droopy sack.
But
yeah, that's what I meant.
The Vanderpool guy is kind of his stuff is kind of a hybrid, a little on the Grey's Anatomy side, a little on the George Bridgman side. The breaking things down in individual parts is interesting because I know McFarlane. When McFarlane talked about the way he learned how to draw, he said he learned piece by piece and then put them together like a puzzle. I
got to find the next one
that's funny stuff. But I like Bridgman because of his understanding of the whole figure as a mechanism. If you move your shoulder this way, your hip will go this way. It's not just moving the shoulder. There's like a chain of action that happens.
Yeah, I'm still learning.
Have great sense of power and great sense of stability. When they're grounded, they have weight and mass to them, which is reminds me of like Buscema.
Oh God,
John's,
he's so good.
They had weight and they had mass.
I think he's the most underappreciated of that day.
Who, Bridgman?
Buscema.
Oh, Buscema, yeah.
It's just, and his contributions, if you think about it, there's not. I can't speak for the new generation, but of my generation and older, there's not a single person I don't know that doesn't have a copy of How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, and has accessed it as if it was like, the drink to quench your thirst.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a story. There was a party in the mid to late 1960s that Neil Adams was at, and he was with Stan Lee, and Stan said, because Stan was notoriously bad at names, couldn't remember people's names. He goes, Neil, that guy right there with the beard who just came in, what's his name? And Neil looked at him and goes, that's the best artist you got. That's John Buscema.
Oh shit!
Oh my God!
There was one time. Wow. This is my only Stan Lee story. I've got a couple, but this one is interesting. When Rob and Jim had done Heroes Reborn in 1996, they did a whole press release in Philadelphia, and Bob Harris was there, Jim was there, Rob was there, and Stan Lee was there to kind of give his blessing. but he had got hit by a case of some sort of stomach bug, so he wasn't feeling that good. So I actually like helped carry him back to his room.
Who, Stan?
You know, Stan. Yeah. Like I gave him a shoulder to help him get to his room because he wasn't feeling good. So I see him like a year later at San Diego, and I go, "Hey, Stan, man. Hey, how are you, man?" He goes, "Hey." I go, "Yeah, I was the guy in Philadelphia. I was with Rob Liefeld. I helped you get back to your room." And he's like, "Yeah, I remember that day you were wearing beige pants and blue shirt." And I said,
That's a pretty good impression.
"Yeah." I said, "Stan, that's what you're wearing right now." And he was wearing beige pants and a blue shirt. And he goes, "Well, so I am." And then he goes walking off.
Were you wearing a beige shirt and blue pants?
I wasn't. He was wearing that outfit.
I wasn't. Even better.
Well, it wasn't even close. He just was wearing that. So he, that when you said he's not good with names, I was like, that makes sense. Because I thought that was the weirdest shit when he's like, "You were wearing beige pants." And I was like, "You're wearing beige pants and a blue shirt." So I am. And,
Maybe it was me.
Yeah, it was me. Sorry, the total digression.
That's
Andy,
funny.
next book.
All right. Once again, I found it on. I have the original book right here.
Yes, dude.
Dude, I
Yes.
checked this one out. I remember as a kid, I love looking at the Peros 2 pages. Everybody got like 2 to 3 pages. Peros
Jose
2
Luis
pages.
Garcia did too.
Garcia Lopez drew himself
That's it.
posing in a mirror because he's like,
yeah, Bob Osborne's
Yes.
in there.
Bob Osborne.
There's a portrait. There's a portrait of Walter Simonson right there on the.
Yeah.
Isn't Sergio Aragonis is in there too, right?
Yeah.
There it is. So good.
I don't know. Let's
So
see.
fucking good.
I'll see. Is it crap or what? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. But
God
dude,
damn it.
that
I can't say the
highly,
Bob
highly
Osborne
recommended.
stuff then.
Highly
Yeah,
recommended.
this book is great. It's got Mike Grell when he was working on Tarzan, which I thought was cool.
Mike Grell did Tarzan.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he did the Tarzan Sunday strip for a while.
I had no idea.
Him and Gil
Larry
Kane.
Marder's in there too.
Yep.
Beanworld.
It's a fantastic book because
You know how much
it
that
ranges
book
from
goes for?
cartoon strip guys to comic book guys. God, I wish my screen was good.
Andy?
What's that?
You know how much that book goes for?
No,
$97 on Amazon.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
getting rid
saw
of
that.
mine. Not getting rid of mine. No way, no how.
Me neither. I'm keeping this sucker.
Yeah, I've had mine since like 87 or 88.
I'll give you 40 for it.
40
Check
and-
eBay. So
40
Graham,
and
you don't
some
have it, I
layouts.
take it? Graham, you
I
don't have it?
No.
Check eBay.
I will.
Yeah. Total, Graham, completely worth it just for the variety, the read, the different takes. Yeah, I remember the one that Garcia Lopez, the thing that hit me was him standing with one foot in front of the mirror posing.
In front of the mirror.
And then he's got like that pirate, like, isn't there like a pirate scene?
Yeah,
Or
and
like
he shows the 3 steps.
Yeah, God, it's so good.
He shows, it's so funny. As a kid, you're just like, got it. No way. It's only 3 steps because he shows his first step, which is like mannequins, right?
Yeah.
Really nicely drawn mannequins. You're like, that's not
Yeah.
your first step. That's bullshit. We all know your first step is a rough, right?
Yeah.
So, but his first step's mannequins. And then over the mannequins, the second step is like clothing. And then the final step is like finished pencils. And you're like,
Untouchable,
please.
untouchable finished pencils. I remember
Yeah.
seeing that going, yeah. I mean, not to knock on guys. I keep bringing them up because they're like guys that inspired me, guys like Todd and Rob. But I remember as a kid, even I had the fortunate happenstance of living near the Bay Area.
oh, you know what? Let me do this.
And I went over to Tom Orzechowski's house, Tom Orzechowski and Lois, and they lived downstairs from Trina Robbins. And I would go to visit them, and they said, well, you know the reason you like Rob Liefeld's style so much. And at this point, I already knew Rob and had been talking to Rob. I said, why? And they said, because it's obtainable.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I totally balked at the notion. Like, forget you, they're awesome. But now,
There it is. 30
here it
bucks on
is.
eBay.
Yep.
Good catch, Jasper. Here it is, like years and years later, and it's true. Like when I looked at a McFarlane drawing, I felt as a kid like if I work hard enough, I'll get there. But when I'd look at like
I was going to say Ethan said that about Todd. Ethan was like, I'd look at comics, I'd see like Neil Adams and I don't know the exact, so I'm pretty sure he said like Neil Adams and John Buscema, and he was just like, oh. And then he said he saw Todd's Spider-Man and he was like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, no, I saw Todd's Hulk and had the same sort of reaction.
Right.
It was close enough. And we also had another theory that like as kids, we, especially growing up in the 70s and you guys in the 30s, there he goes.
That was harsh.
Yeah, sorry guys. But the transition usually went like Saturday morning cartoons to comic books, right? And Todd and Rob and even Walt Simonson, Art Adams had this sort of hybrid, kind of was in this cartoon simplified world. And, but when you look at a Neil Adams, it's so sophisticated that
I always thought like there's a stylization that those guys have versus realism. So, Neil and like the 70s were kind of defined by, like the 60s was kind of the Jack Kirby kind of thing. And then going into the 70s was more like realistic. So there was kind of the Neil Adams phase. And then like what started coming out of that is like more stylistic work, like, Simonson and Adams and those guys. And for me, it was just more stylized. So I always liked the more stylized, to be honest.
So did I. It seemed to me that it would. It's an energy, right? Like we always go back to music, but if you think about somebody's vocals and if they're like spot on and it's in pitch and just right and it's great. But when you hear somebody that is like, we talked about this earlier, the out of the pocket and just kind of playing and bouncing off the notes and they're almost reckless, but it's got an energy and it's fun.
Yeah.
To me, going back to the original point and what Orzechowski had said was it's achievable. It feels achievable. If I only express myself to my fullest, I can do this. Where you look at someone like a Garcia Lopez or Neil Adams and you go, fuck, man, I gotta learn the skull and I gotta learn lighting and I gotta learn, like, it feels almost
intimidating.
It's like intimidating and constricting in a way.
Yeah.
But what's crazy, again, going back as an adult now and having learned the sins of my youth, 2020 hindsight and all that, it would have been nice to have learned some of those fundamentals up front to be able to inform what I wanted to do, Well,
see, it's funny. So
I feel the same way, Dan. Like my career was in reverse. Like when I started, I didn't really understand much of anything. And then as I, about midway through my career, like light bulbs started going on and I was like, oh, okay, that's what this is. That's what that is. So up to that point, it was pretty much just instinct. It was just like, you're just doing versus knowing what you're doing,
Instinct and copying. Like you're seeing something and you're interpreting that version of it, but you're not understanding the fundamentals of why that person's doing it. Because you don't have the ability to deconstruct it properly.
Right.
When I was at the Kubert School my first year, this was this was 88. And I think it's right when Todd was starting and stuff, So it was that phase kind of starting. And people in my class, my first year class, were kind of latching on to it. And I remember towards the end of first year, so in 1990, doing a really crazy Spider-Man like splash page, And Hy Eisman, who was the lettering teacher, I did it for his class because we had to do a splash page with lettering and whatnot. So I put Spider-Man in this really crazy pose, because I was kind of influenced by Todd. I remember High looking at it going, just kind of look, and High, this is an old school guy. High was in his 60s at this time, and he's looking at it and he's like, man, that doesn't really work at all, but it looks really cool. And it was just, I was like, okay, cool, thanks.
That's what it boiled down to, though. It was a cool factor.
Yeah.
How did it make you, like, at the end of the day, how does something make you feel?
Right.
And it's just as valid. It's just as valid as that guy that learned and is nailing, all the anatomy and the perspective and everything like that. That stuff, because it's storytelling. At the end of the day, it's storytelling. So if you can get a point across with something very, very stylized, then that's great.
Right.
If you can do it very realistic, then that's great as well. It's weird because when you start your career too, you go like, what's the best? I want to be the best, and then there's some point where you just go, what does that even mean? Like, what is the best? Right. Like there's so much good out there. Like who is the best? Like, is it a poll? Like, and even so, it's like, Wizard had the top 10. Those still aren't the best guys in the business.
No, the Wizard thing was popularity contest.
Yeah. It didn't even really.
There's some payola.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. When Aaron, one of our missing professionals, had mentioned his weekend with Golden, and that story he told, that affected me, man. Like, just the talk that Golden had given him and him passing it on, that affected me. Like, the whole idea of what is your best or what is the best art. The best is the best you can do.
Exactly.
That is the bottom line. It's like, are you giving the best of your ability? And a lot of times, I was just talking with my writer today about this, that a lot of this stuff that I'm doing and shots that I'm picking, I don't want to do them because they fucking hurt. They hurt. Like, I'm doing this upshot right now and getting it figured out was such a bitch. And I'm like, just go flat. No. Don't fucking walk away from the challenge. And that's what is being the best is about, is going up, because that's the right shot, right? You that's the right shot, and it may scare the shit out of you, but go at it. Like, that's what being the best is.
And the good thing about like what we're doing is we're not kind of assembly line anymore. We're not on that rigid deadline. So you have a little bit of time to flex your muscles and try something different. And I remember Howard Chaykin told me this, and it was great advice. He said, never work it out on the board. He said, work it out in your sketchbooks. Like, the time to work that up shot out isn't on the board. It's like in your sketchbook. So
digital is a different story, though.
What's that?
Digital is a different story. It's a new game.
No. I'm not trying to make a point with you. What I'm trying to say is like, I'm sure that you're not working it out on the board. Like, you're working it out, on other things, and then you're going to bring that to the finish.
I'll do an idea on paper and go, yeah, that's it. But then you go to execute it and you're like, wow, that doesn't look right. And then you work it out on the board. But the ideas, they get worked out on napkins.
Yeah. The whole thing was just the point is like, the time to learn something isn't, the stuff that's going to see print. The time to learn it is before, and then
I see what you're saying.
You bring that knowledge into the work. So, I mean, you're working things out always, but what he meant by that was like, if it's like, Gil Kane upshot or whatever, like, try to work that out in your sketchbook first, and then you can bring that into the finished stuff, your actual pages that are going to see print, that type of
That's
thing.
a method, but I mean, there's that old saying of, make sure that your ambition always exceeds your grasp, and I think that's the idea of what being the best is. Like, and mind you, guys, I just came off of watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. So like, and it's like my third time watching and going, oh, this guy was like constantly like, oh, here's the edge. No, here's the edge. No, like just
wait. What happened over here in the corner? Can we see Andy Smith now?
He's clear.
You're clear.
You're clear. You're crystal clear, dude.
Oh my gosh, a miracle!
How did that happen?
I don't know. I told you that it just goes. It could be. I don't know. I'm not even trying to.
You're a beautiful man, Andy.
Yeah.
You're not just some
Hold
blurry.
on, wait. Am I still? Wait. The real test is this.
You look
Yes,
good.
clear.
Oh yes, Andy's back.
That's when you
Andy
need to
has a
bring
nose.
Christine up. Bring Christine. We want to look at her.
She's off work right now.
Well, I want to see that freshly dyed beard.
Oh, it's right there.
Bring it up, Andy. Come on, man. Don't be scared.
I'm sorry, Dan. I saw the frame focus and I was like, oh
No, dude, it's all good. I guess the one of the things that's wonderful about being artists and especially having like these I mean, when you think about it, how cool is this? It's like a regular panel discussion with guys that are experts that all have unique ideas and experiences. I've got so much from talking to all you guys, and I always mention Graham. Graham put me on this freaking course that like expanded my brain like a Fibonacci sequence, you know. So I feel real excited for the the chat and the panel. But what I'm saying, what's beautiful is, dude, what you're saying, I completely subscribe to. The thing that Howie had told you, I totally subscribe to that. But I will still take it. Let's say in my sketchbook, I got it to a 5. I'll bring that 5 to the board and still try to push it to like an 8.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah.
But you got it to a certain level that then you're confident with then bringing it into the product.
But I mean, I don't think a single page that I've done on this book has come easy, you know, and storyboards are easy, and certain, like if you ask me to just draw something, I like my 2-year-old always asks me to draw stuff, and I knock it out. You know, I can draw without layouts. I knock it out, but it doesn't, I'm not pushing myself. If she said, Dad, draw a unicorn at an upshot, you know, kind of galloping with like butterflies flying out, I'd go, shit, okay. You know, and I'd work it out. But if she said draw a unicorn, I can draw a profile of a horse quite easily.
With a horn,
yeah. Yeah, with a horn.
I just laid out a double-page splash today.
Of a unicorn.
Well, it does have a lot of animals in it. I'll say that much. Ooh. And I am not looking forward to this. It's really going to challenge me.
Find some good music, man.
But like you said, it's the right angle. It's the right storytelling point. So I just got to roll up my sleeves, put my big boy pants on, and buckle down. But like Art said, I'm not on a deadline like, oh, you know, this monthly book's got to be out every month. No. If this takes me 3-4 days, everybody's going to love the final result because it's this big double page splash with all the goodies in it, you know? So, it's
paint is temporary. Film is forever. Just transpose it over to comics.
And the thing is, like, what you usually end up doing is like you throw these layouts together when you're working, you know, the mainstream and you're under deadline. And so you draw this, and in your thumbnails, there's ambition, right? And then there becomes the reality of time. And so then you find out that you try to start working it out on the board, but it's just not coming. And then you look at the time and you're like, I only have 2 more hours. And so then you just go with what you know. Like you end up always like
it breaks your heart.
Yeah.
It breaks your heart.
Yep.
It absolutely breaks your heart. That was the part of comics that I hated.
Yeah.
It's the grand compromise where you're like, it's like Graham was saying and I was saying earlier, there's the right shot. And when you're racing the clock and it's not the right shot, and you go, fuck. It's like Wills had talked about the shortcuts he would do. He would say, he'd get a Claremont script that would be like, and 1,000 alien invaders come and attack, you know? And Wills, when he ran out of time, would cut to a extreme close-up. Thousands of invaders are attacking, you know, and then cut to like a couple of ships, you know.
And you know what? As an inker, towards the end of a deadline, you appreciated that.
Oh, yeah.
Best deadline guy. Because if you look at like a lot of these books, like the one in back, like the first half of the book is like, there's 6-7 panel pages. Then towards the middle, they're like 3 panels. And then as it gets to the end, it's like 2 panels. And then they're just all like full page spreads.
Yeah. Joe Madureira once said that he does the end first, the beginning second, and the middle third.
Compromise the end. Yeah.
So he has this sort of like tasty sandwich of you know,
right.
full
And then,
bore
and
or
then
the best.
doesn't was it Joe Kubert, I believe, said that there's how many pages, like 3 or 5 pages that are memorable. Like all you have to do is
Right.
3 to 5 pages, and then the rest is just kind of like
I don't subscribe to that newsletter. Todd McFarlane told me the same thing. He said, because I would go in on something like the same way I do now, and he'd go, "Hey, Bud, what's your favorite comic book of all times?" And I'd say it was Dark Knight Returns. He goes, "Tell me what you like. Tell me some
Who says
pages."
that?
Todd
Todd
McFarlane.
McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane. Tell me what you like, Bud. And so I would go and I'd go, "Oh man, like that double page or this," and like when she hugs him, and when he's standing over the guy in the mud, and when he kicks Superman in the chin, and the guy on the horse, he goes, "Tell me about page 10 on issue 1." And I go, "I don't know, something with 16 panels." He goes, "Exactly." And he did the same line of like, there's certain memorable things. But then my rebuttal to that is Michael Golden. I could tell you panel by panel Marvel Fanfare 47 and why they're so good, and the subtlety and the lighting and like the whole page. And I could in my mind go through it page by page. I could do that with Doctor Strange. I can do that with Avengers Annual 10. There's certain books that are just sublime all the way through.
I think like this was more or less for like monthly, when
Yeah.
you're in that grind. Like there's always
absolutely.
exceptions, but just like I used to say, like it's a marathon. There's never going to be an end, right? So you have to learn to pace yourself. You have to learn.
There's never going to be an end.
There's never going to be an
there's
end.
not.
Yeah, there's
Every
never
now and then they drop a carrot,
You guys don't know what that even means till you've worked in syndicated comic strips.
Oh man,
There is no end. There's no
end.
finishing off an issues, and you can dust off, clean up your studio, then you start with a brand new script. No. They're still sitting at the table eating dinner.
yeah it's a constant, and people don't realize that that it is something that just keeps asking more and more of you when you're in that monthly kind of grind. Hyper Kaiju
books.
All right, whose turn was it? I already
think
forgot.
It's yours.
Did you go?
No, you showed tips for top cartoonist, so it's Graham's turn.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I'm gonna throw a wrench into this whole thing because the best way to learn to draw comics and to learn how to do storytelling is
to look at Graham Nolan.
These books here. That's right. To look at my stuff. No, is to look at these comics.
The Jim Aparo.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Look at and copy this stuff, and while you're doing that, deconstruct it. Figure out those panel arrangements. Why the artist? Every artist starts with a blank piece of paper, and everything you see there is a conscious decision. Why? Why did he choose that? Why that angle? Why the motion going one way? Why the placement of blacks? What do you like about the way he rendered drapery or fur or you name it? All the information is right there for you, right in front of you. Your textbooks are right here.
Should they take into consideration the discussion we just had?
Well,
I was sleeping. What was that?
Just about like Aparo. You were showing some of the Aparo stuff, and it's good and it's classic. But every now and then, you have to go, are they saving time here? Like, what would it? Or does this bother me? And what would have I done? Knowing,
well, that's part of the deconstruction process.
Right, I was going to say,
is that when you're reading stuff, there's something about every one of your idols you don't like in their work, and so you take the stuff that you like and figure out why you like it, and apply it to your work, and you cast out the stuff that you don't like.
Right.
So yeah, I mean. I think it's really all part of the process of breaking it down and understanding it. But the language is there, and that's the whole thing. Comics is a language, and you have to learn that language. That there's a language of visual storytelling. There's a language of dialogue and cadence and pace. All of that is part of this wonderful art form we call comics, and it's something you have to learn before you can break any of those rules.
True.
Well, that's also storytelling. So if you're going to learn storytelling, then pick up comic books, because that's what it is. You know, it's rhythm, flow. It's like the best shot to express that moment. You know, and usually the best way to do that is the simplest way. So don't make something convoluted. You know, when you can make it very simple. And it usually, like, for the rule of thumb for me is like, if this is what the story says, then literally just draw that in the clearest way you can, you know, and that's pretty much.
You could be nuanced though too. You know, there was a discussion about John Byrne versus George Perez, and someone said that, you know, when it came to like a car careening and going off a cliff because the brakes don't work, you know, John Byrne would draw it in a splash. You know, you'd see like the car move and you can see like the smoke and like flying through the thing. Whereas George Perez would show the car, the guy stepping on the brake, his eyes get big, you know, the car not, you know, doing the thing and then going off, right? It's like two styles of doing the same thing. So, you know, it's like you can show someone grab the door handle to open the door, but, you know, is that to give the writer room for a thought balloon? Is it also just to increase suspense and slow down time before they open the door? You know, these are tools that are at our disposal. You know, like I always tell people also watch film, but know that there's a transposition that happens because we don't have music, we don't have sound effects, and we don't have camera movement. But I think it's called, his name is Solinsky. I think one of the first guys to like edit like a teacup and a baby, or a teacup and fire, like the context of images together, eliciting a certain response. So in film, you want to pay attention to those edits. You also want to pay attention to the amount of information, but also find out what the transposition is. Art, you had said earlier today, there's people that exaggerate and they don't draw sort of realistically. And one of my favorite guys is Eric Canetti, who has a book launching on the 15th. He had done this book called Chrononauts. Yeah. And there was this particular shot that he did that had a perspective up here and then another set of perspective here. It was like 3-point, but he had done it in a way that felt really beautiful. And I had, you know, I feel very lucky knowing you guys and having access to these masters. I called him up and I said, hey, this particular shot, where was your head at? And he goes, oh, that's cinema. He goes, imagine like the camera starts at the sky and then comes down to this vista. And I'm like, holy shit, you're right. You know, and so even just that little piece of information made me realize like these longer panels are pans. You know, the way you can, we have a similar language to film. It's not the same, there's these, it's definitely not the same. Having storyboarded for the last almost 20 years, I've drawn comics for 30 and storyboarded for 20, and I could definitely tell you that they're very different. But they're still like one of the great books. It's not how to draw a book, but The 5 C's of Cinematography. Like, what a fantastic book for storytelling, right? But not necessarily drawing.
Well, even some of the greats, you know, like when back to deconstructing work, I had posted a thing on Facebook comparing a very similar sequence, the way that Alex Toth handled it and the way John Buscema handled it. And it's a sequence that ends in a big reveal. So in the Alex Toth one, it was from one of the Warren magazines, maybe Eerie or Creepy or whatever it was. And the big reveal is that this guy realizes that these humans he's been talking to are aliens, and they like pull off their skin, you know, and reveal their alien stuff. But Toth gets too cutesy in his storytelling in it, and he tells his big reveal panel is the perspective of the guy. So you're looking through his hand, like you as the reader are looking through his hand because he's putting it up in front of his face to block off what he's seeing, and so you're seeing the guy, the aliens through here. You know, that's the money shot. That's the big thing. Now we flash over to John Buscema in Savage Sword of Conan #2. and he's fighting this sheik guy who has this towel around his head and stuff. Thugur Khotan was his name, and he pulls off the thing, and it's like a 3/4 splash page, no hand in front of this guy's melted face, and it's like when I read that as a kid, I went, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
I mean, that was powerful.
Yeah,
And
the hand kind of gets in the way, right?
Yeah, the hand totally it takes away the dramatics of it.
It's a cool the dramatics of what he's seeing. We don't also need to know that he's seeing this.
It makes it safer because there's something between the two. But my favorite storytelling tool is the gutters. That's where you can play with time. Like all kinds of stuff can happen, and that's the difference between comics and cinema, because there's shit that happens between the panels, and that's my favorite. Even when I read a good comic book, that's when I know I'm being engaged. Like that's when the artist is really doing his job, when I can follow it and I can go from here, and then there's a gap between the gut, there's the gutter, and then you go to the next, and then like the really greats can just move time so flawlessly. And even though
Kirby was a master of that, of the gutters, like because he didn't have to do, the guy opens up the door, he steps into the room, he walks across the room, and he looks out the window. Kirby had the guy in the with his hand on the door, and then he's all the way across the room in the next panel. That gutter is your time. And there he is, about to lean out the window, The
reader participates.
And what I do, it's I'm not saying I'm a master or anything like that, but I like to play with panels that overlap or slightly overlap another panel, because to me, when I do it, it's not just artsy. It's actually showing that like maybe two things are slightly overlapping at the same time, or like time is moving a little quicker than it would if you put a gap between it. And I do remember David Mazzucchelli would play with spaces. So Mazzucchelli, like with Daredevil, like Born Again, like sometimes he would almost isolate a panel. Like there would be like, say, there'd be 5 panels, right? And then the last one would be smaller, and the gutters would be wider all the way around, because it was like, it was emotional. It was like, this is isolated, So he played with sizes of panels and the gutters, and he did some overlap as well. And that's what I really was like, wow, this is cool. Like you can play with timing, like just
that takes it back to the Will Eisner book.
Yeah.
The Will Eisner sequential storytelling. He's got a whole section on timing and about just the width of the gutters. If you want to slow down time, you don't want to do a gutter that's like, the half of a page, obviously, but if it's a thicker gutter and then you go to 2 panels with a real thin slice of white as the gutter, it's kind of like a slow beat and then wham, wham with the next 2, because the gutter's so thin.
Yeah, or no gutters, just have the black lines.
Right, or no gutters, which is really like wham, 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 wham.
Yeah. The guy's eyes, he looks at the watch, boom, 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 all those things within a second. Yeah.
Yep.
Another technique too is utilizing gravity in having your panels dropping down in a way that's a free fall, to give the impression of action happening in a way that's out of control too.
That's a great idea. Frank Miller was a big fan and proponent of the Lone Wolf and Cub series.
Mm-hmm.
He said that was one of the first series that he didn't need to know the language to understand what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
That some of the most solid storytelling is in Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah.
So Art, what's your next book?
My next book is it's something fun, and I'm just gonna throw this out there real quick. And
oh yeah.
I wish there were more of these in the day, man.
I own
this one.
Yeah.
Oh, you got them both.
I have them both too, but you guys, I showed you that picture. I own the color separations for the cover of number 2.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll full screen it. So,
now that we can see it better, and it's like Dick Giordano's in there, and
Frank McLaughlin, John Romita.
And even like John Byrne's section in that, I guess on our right, is one of my favorite.
It's good.
I just
love that sort of super duper man.
Pictures of the guys on the back.
And then this is the main book that it's the
All right, hold on.
Weatherly
I want
book.
to get back to you.
The Weatherly
go.
books. You know, he's
I don't
always
know
in
that
San
one.
Diego.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a
don't know
version.
him.
I've got a version of that one too. It doesn't have that cover. It looks a little different.
Yeah, there's just like
Let's
great
see some of the inside, Art.
Oh, my light. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
There you go. A little
Oh,
better.
that's good. That's a good animal book.
Yeah.
Another good animal book
shape.
is by a guy named Kent Holmgren, I think.
Let me find some
What's
more.
Art? What's the name of that book?
It's the Weatherly Guide to Drawing Animals, and he breaks things down to really simple like shapes and forms,
Cool. I'm digging it up.
and then gets more into detail.
There it is. $20. $20 on by Joe Weatherly on Amazon.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Thank you for that heads up, bro.
Yeah, it's some good stuff, and he's always at San Diego, and I always try to make some time to talk to him.
Make some time and bust some rhymes.
Yeah, and then I guess we're kind of running down on the end of the show, but I just want to let everybody know too, like sketchbooks,
Oh yeah,
sketchbooks. Like I got the sketchbooks from when I was a kid. And let me find. I think this was my first sketchbook here. So, where you just do a bunch of studies.
Oh God, I don't do stuff like that at all anymore. I'm so lazy.
I don't do any of that.
I do that shit almost daily.
Yeah, I have like just tons
Daily.
That's nice, Art.
Nice
Yeah.
hands, dude.
Wow.
of hand studies, and then
You give good handies.
I give
Yeah,
good
you do.
hands. I'm trying to find something cool. And these, I remember when I did these as a kid.
Whoa, now we're showing porn? What the hell?
But
Smart.
there's no underdrawing. Like I drew that with the ink.
Right.
Like there's
Smart.
no pencil involved. I drew all these
Smart.
with just ink smut. Here's a guy. Here's some guy smut. Yeah.
Oh,
What's up?
why am
What's
I
a
even
little
full
boy
screening
doing like you doing with big boy smut like that?
Big boy.
Art, was that guy from that? What that looks like? It's from that pose book.
Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Fairburn system.
Fairburns, yeah.
No, that was
no,
a Fairburn.
no. It's a book that kind of goes like a centerfold. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, like a centerfold.
No, it does, and it's funny because the guy's wearing. So in the book,
Like a
Going
calendar.
to naked dude, and it's like
no,
a centerfold.
that's just it. In the book, the guy's not naked; he's wearing a jockstrap, right? But the woman, 100% naked, and it's an old school book to the standpoint of, let's say somebody should introduce her to a razor. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
Just
a
chilling.
bush. There's some bush.
just
out.
chilling.
Yeah,
Just chilling.
yeah. How dare you?
I
I
Graham?
have that book still.
How dare you, Graham? No, I think I do too. Yeah.
No,
That's funny that you
hysterical.
knew, but that's those things like when you're a kid and you don't have a lot of money, you utilize everything. Like you'll just like draw from whatever you have. Like, and I came up where like illustration, you had morgue, right? You guys know what like art morgues are. So
Oh yeah.
you have like you just clip out stuff from magazines. I would paste them all on like a sheet. So like these are hands. So I'd find interesting hands. I'd paste them all on a sheet, and then I'd have them in a file. So I could go like my hand file, like those type of things. Now with the internet, it's so awesome, man. I go hand with a gun, boom, boom, boom.
Oh
Like
yeah.
a million
I use
different
Pinterest.
angles.
I save boards. Pinterest is my morgue. I save boards.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
tanks, submarines, tractors.
Yeah, then you can go right to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you print those?
you could if you downloaded them one at a time.
Okay.
But sometimes you can save them. I'll save best ofs and I'll make PDFs and keep them on my iPad. Once it really hit me.
Well, you know what I do now, like as far as references, I don't need to print anything out. I don't even really use this board over here anymore. I ink on it, but I have like a little lap board here. And if I need reference, I just find it. It's on my computer. And I just like I'm doing right now, I just draw and I just look at it right from the computer screen.
Stop drawing me, Art.
Stop drawing me.
Yep. All right, Fragaboom. What you got?
Yeah,
I
top
I
Weatherly.
got what I call the new hotness.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you guys are going to want to get this. It's only been out for a couple months. You guys have heard of Kim Jong-gi, correct?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, his company Super Annie, with I don't even know how you say his name, Jong Kun Sok, put out the
Some
world's
young
greatest
guy.
anatomy book. It's called Stonehouse's Anatomy,
Oh,
Ooh.
you know what? I think I
and
had that on my wish list. Hold on, I'm going to spell you.
it is mega thick and full. Let me try to do it full of the goodness all the way through. But this guy is so detailed and explains everything in like multiple ways to where sure it's dense, but if you want to get it, go through this book and eventually you will get it. But this
Oh, that's
is
cool.
the newest latest greatest Stonehouse's Anatomy.
Anatomy.
Yeah, it's
Write that down.
I'm going to look
it's
that
phone
up.
book huge, guys, and it's indexed. My honorable mention, though, my honorable mention, and what is Bob Gable saying?
Oh, talking about
He's-
the Aaron thing
Oh,
with Terry
Yeah.
Dotson backing out of the cover.
oh shit! Yeah, that's no fun.
That's up to Aaron to talk about.
Yeah,
We're not going to
I
talk
have
about
a
that.
honorable mention book.
Yeah, let's see it.
I don't have it in front of me, but you guys have heard of it. It's by a gal named Betty Edwards. It's called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain.
Oh, yeah.
And
we've heard of
that
it.
book changed my life in a major way, and it's one of those books that I recommend everybody read. It has some unorthodox ideas, blind contour drawing and drawing upside down and doing negative space stuff, that sort of stuff. So that's my honorable mention, as well as like if you guys are a fan of old school stuff like John Nagy or Mark Kistler. Those guys have stuff out there as well.
Dude, I had John Nagy's How to Draw, kit as a kid.
Yeah. But he was great. I mean, that I learned about him by reading Bernie's A Look Back. I was like, I've never heard of this guy, and then I looked him up, and I'm like, dude, this guy was like the Mark Kistler or the Bob Ross of his day, And he made you really believe you could do it, But and then super honorable mention is Mark Kistler. He's got 2 books. You can draw in 30 seconds, and you can draw in 30 days. It's almost like the 6-minute abs, but he's great. Like I used to watch his TV show. Fortunate to be friends and pals with him now. But he's another one of those guys that if you're coming from a base level, I'm talking you've never drawn before, those are the kind of directions you want to go. Some of these books, again, they can be intimidating, and there's almost like stages. You want early access points. I feel like Jack Ham was a good access point. I think Kistler was a good access point. But when you start getting into like Bridgman or like this Stonehouse, you kind of have to have a bit of a foundation. Otherwise, you will get intimidated.
Yeah. And
I tried looking up that.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I tried looking up that Stonehouse's Anatomy, and a bunch of stuff came up, but not that. What's the actual?
Super Annie is the company that does them. I ordered mine directly from Super Annie. It's spelled superani.com. You should probably be able to get it there. It might be in Korean, the site, and you could translate it, but you can pick the English version. But dude, cover price on this, be ready for the cover price.
$100.
$80.
That was close.
That doesn't sound so bad for a book that dense.
It's dude, this is like medical knowledge, but also with enough metaphor and simile to get your mind into understanding concepts. They're great teachers. Like I've been to a few of the Super Annie workshops, and Hyjin, who is one of Junggi's teachers, did one on watercolor and hand construction, and they just had a way of making you get it. And this book is the same way. It approaches similar things from multiple ways because we all learn differently.
Mhm.
you know. But he tries to cover all the grounds. I think that's why it's so dense. They'll be like, this is an arm, it moves like a hinge. Also, you know, if you think of it as this, and also if you think of it
Right.
like this, all of them are saying essentially the same thing, but you know, gets you understand it.
Well, this
Yeah.
was another one. This is my last one. It's another one I got as a kid that I still own. I mean, my screen's nice and clear, so I can probably just do it this way. But
Whoa, what's that?
it's a book that now it's
Dude.
definitely more. It's not art heavy.
Yeah.
It's more than talking to the artist about techniques. So like pages look like this. It's not how to draw. It's really just getting inside their heads.
Dude,
And just to
I
make
need
it
that
easier.
book. What's it called? Oh, whoa, you
Hold on. It's right there.
how to draw art for comic books.
But you're going to want to type in the guy's name. James Van Hise is the author, to find it on Amazon. It's like $40, I think, used.
Doesn't Andy Smith have an art book?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, if I want to give honorable mention, I could go, this is the one everybody needs. I mean, you know, let's be real. I guess I'll full screen myself. You know, I mean,
sorry, what was that guy's name? The last name of that guy?
Smith?
James
Sears?
Van Hise, Hise.
All right. There
It's
it
like
is.
$40 on Amazon, I think.
I found it. Thank you. No, it's $775.
No, look at the other ones below it.
Look at that, man. $775.
I know, right? I got a gold mine right here. It's $775.
Fuck that.
And then below it, $40.
Okay. That one had a picture. No, $22. I'll take the 22.
22. There you go.
Seal buying options. Yeah, show them your book, dude. And dude, what was the orange one that you gave to me in Boston? The one that had the layered.
Oh,
that one
hold
was
on.
fantastic, man.
Oh, hold on. I don't know if I had it up or not. It was the How to Draw Superhero sketchbook where you draw right inside the book.
So cool.
I've got those, but that's on Amazon too. Well, actually, here, the easiest way to show that is my website.
What's your
Sure,
website?
I'll do a little self pimping.
What's your website, andysmith.com?
That would be andysmithart.com because somebody already had Andy Smith. But hold on, where's that book? Not there, not there.
Look at all those mother flexers.
Hold on. I'm going fast just so I can get to it. Where the hell? I thought it was on that first page.
Books.
See, now I gotta. Oh, damn it! Load more.
Are all those available?
A lot of them are, yeah.
Dude, you guys, holy shit! Get over to his site. You pick these up.
Shirtless Bear Fighter. Dude, it's a hysterical book. It is a funny ass book. That's all I'm saying.
Shirtless Beard Fighter.
Shirtless
You
Bear
don't have
Fighter.
like a. Oh, there we
right
go.
here.
There it is. That's the one. That one's so good.
Yeah, you draw right in it. So all you need is a pencil, and then you draw right over top of the blue line structure stuff in it. Let me get to that.
Pencil.
And then as you go through the book, as you go through the book, the structure is less and less, so you have to do more of it as you learn. So
they call that the boiling the frog technique.
I'll go with that.
Ribbit.
So there's that. So andysmithart.com. So
look at these four people.
Look at these four people. It's true. Look at these four people. We're going after 10. Everybody, we'll go around the horn. Everybody do a pitch. Remember, links are below. Graham, if you want to start.
Before we do the pitch, I just want to address something here that's in the chat.
No,
sure.
There's a lot of talk about what happened with Aaron, and we haven't talked to Aaron.
Nope.
This is up to him. One particular guy has been saying, we don't have his back. Well, we always have Aaron's back. He's a professional, and we back each other up.
right.
We're not talking about it here on this show because the show isn't about that. And Aaron's not here to fill us in because we don't know the details of it. So it would be wrong for us to speculate on it. So
I know the same information they know. I got my update.
that's all we
Yeah, we all got our
and,
updates.
And if
Aaron has
anybody
not
didn't get
spoken
the
to us.
update, the update basically said that the Terry couldn't complete the cover for him. So he decided that he would take it upon himself to do the cover. So he's doing the cover. He says he'd understand if you are upset and want to refund it, but he's also posted his new cover, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the cover looks great.
And I doubt anybody is gonna refund it because it's amazing. And that's all I know.
That's all any of us know. So that's why we're not talking about it because it's improper to do so. So let's just put that to bed right now, folks.
Yeah, he was traveling today, taking his daughter back to college, so we haven't been able to chat.
That's the only reason not on here. He's taking his daughter to college, so when he's ready to talk, he will. But he's a gentleman, much more than we are. So he not say anything.
but on a nice note, on a great note with Aaron, next week the bros are on his channel for game show
night.
That's right, game show night.
He's got more than enough time to prepare. He's been kicking that can for 4 weeks.
3 weeks.
It'll be 4. It'll be
4
4
next
by
week.
the time.
Yeah. He's kicked that can down the road there. So
and I guess we can say it's all pop culture. So it's not just comics. It's not just movies.
Right.
It's
every one of us has a shot.
Yeah.
I think he did that just to screw me because I was the big winner last time. Just saying.
Okay, so pimp time.
So go ahead.
I've got my campaign Alien Alamo, which is doing well. Hit 103,000 today. And if you haven't backed it, there's plenty of room for you on board as well. We're close to 1,600 backers. I think I'm only 7 away, something like that. So if there's 7 of you out there, get on board. I need you. I want to get to 1,600.
7 is the magic number.
7 is the magic number. It's the number of the Mick.
It's a magic number.
And then I have my YouTube channel. It's under Graham Nolan. You can just search that out. And I do a show called The Storytellers every Wednesday night. So tune in for that.
And yesterday, who did you have on yesterday?
I had this guy named
Art Thibbert.
Some hack.
Some old guy. Graham finally interviewed an old timer of comics.
AJ Tom, to answer your question, are you really 14 pages away from being done? The answer is yes and no. I'm 14 pages away, but I think I might be adding a few more pages. Free of charge, guys, because the story has to be told, and it's looking like I'm going to need a few extra pages to finish it out properly. So, yeah. So technically, yes, 14 pages away.
Cool. Art, you're up.
Yes. Black and White. We're finishing up the first 7 days of the campaign, and we're only 116 away from 40K. So it would be awesome if we could get 40K by the end of the night, which means then the first week, it's 40K. That's not too bad. And at 40K, we unlock the Inko sticker. So Inko is the Hack Shack Studios mascot. That's good. Ink is his slogan. And so you'll get that. And also we've unlocked the 30K stretch goal. I think the first day of the campaign, we unlocked that stretch goal. So for everybody, you get the pre-launch card. Everybody's going to get the pre-launch card because of my MailChimp screw up. And everybody's going to get the stretch goal trading card. And at 40K, once we hit that, everybody get that Inko sticker as well. So there's already a bunch of goodies that you guys are accumulating on this campaign just by backing it. And we just added sketch layouts. So my thumbnails, my little doodles, those are now available. They're only $40 a pop. And they're pretty detailed. And I think if you guys are like me, I like behind the scenes stuff, work in progress. And it's a real good insight to that. And like I said, we now have a tier for it, and you can get it as an add-on. And there's no, I think there's with the tier there's $1 additional shipping, and we just had to do that just because Indiegogo wouldn't let us post it up unless there was a shipping price. And so we did that, and it's only $1. If you do it as an add-on, there's no additional shipping charge for that.
Nice. Fragaboom.
What's happening? In addition to checking out these fine gentlemen's campaigns and backing them, I would highly recommend signing up for Inglorious Rex by Shane Davis.
Oh, yeah.
You got his Starlight Cats this week if you guys already backed it. You can also, if you hadn't backed it yet, there's a second chance to back a reprint of that on the Inglorious Rex campaign, which is going to be launching on Saturday. As far as Black Flag, you guys know what it is. I'm working, updating you guys regularly. You guys could take a look. Also, in about an hour and 45 minutes, it is Ethan Van Sciver's birthday. So go harass him. Wish him a happy 47th birthday.
What a youngster! What a youngster!
I know.
For real.
That's it.
That's what you.
Yeah.
That's all you. That's what you get out of me. That's my plug.
All right, and then guys, of course, First Man is still going, so please go check it out, back it. It is a few hundred shy of 23,000, so go check it out and back it. 64 pages, fun superhero stuff. You are going to love it. And like I said, next week we will be on the Aaron's channel, so you can check us there doing old game show stuff. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We all have YouTube channels as well. So please subscribe to those. Subscribe to mine while you're here, please. That would be awesome. And guys, until next time, I forgot to play this intro, so I'm going to play it outro. All you guys hang around until after this, so we can chat after the show real quick.
You guys be
everybody.
great.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.